Hey guys, what's up? Swift here, and today I'm doing an unboxing and review of two PlayStation 3 DualShock 3 controllers that are made in China now. What that means is that they are imitation brands, imitation goods rather, and they are actually supposed to be third-party controllers that will work with your PS3. So now the reason why I've ordered this too is because I have been looking for controllers to replace my spoiled DualShock 3 controller, and if you watch my previous review of another third-party controller, that is the Geotech VX1, you will know why I'm actually searching for some more controllers that are actually cheap and good. If you do not know, this is the, let me just show you how the VX1 looks like. Now here on your left here is the Geotech VX1. Now you can just look at the review of it. It isn't very good, and if you watch the review, I did mention in the review that there is a Chinese OEM version as well. I'm not sure. I believe Geotech has rebranded the OEM one to their own brand and sell it off, which isn't very good because the controller itself has lacking features, and the build quality itself isn't very good. So here we have two controllers here. Now they are out of the box already because I did a previous recording, and the recording file was corrupted, so I have to redo it all over again. But unfortunately all the boxes are destroyed because they cannot be unboxed properly. So here you get two different things. Now why two controllers here? I've asked the supplier the difference between the blue packaging here, as they name it, and the red packaging. Now the blue packaging, according to the supplier, is a newer version, as well as it's by another different manufacturer. So I do expect higher quality. I'm supposed to expect high quality rather from the blue controller. I mean the blue packaging, these controllers cost about $12 US, with this one being slightly more expensive at $1 more, I believe. This packaging. Now the colors are quite confusing in this review, but do bear with me because I wanted the better one to be a color that of my choice, which is red. So let's just kick the boxes aside. Now the boxes inside do not have much except the controller itself and some warranty stuff that are obviously just imitation. Now these two controllers look exactly the same as an original. Now this is an original, take that off, and you will have an original DualShock 3 controller. So this is the Sony DualShock 3 on top, and these are the imitation one. Now they do feel different. They definitely do feel different, especially you can hear the clicking sound. Yep, very different. It feels much cheaper, definitely much cheaper, but the weight on this controllers are actually much better feeling than the Geotech VX1, mainly because this has rumble, I believe, vibration feedback, and it is wireless as well. Now I thought that they should have the USB, like some kind of USB dongle, but apparently these controllers work without it, so we just have to try it out, and I will give you my thoughts and review of this controller, the blue packaging one and the red packaging one, in a while. So I have played with both controllers for quite some time already, mainly using the game FIFA 13 as a benchmark to test out the analog stick as well as the different buttons on the controller itself. Now the controllers are very similar, both the blue and red packaging, in the sense that they both have similar flaws, and it is just that one of the controller performs slightly better in that the flaws aren't as bad as the other. Now I'll just say it straight off, instead of what the suppliers has told me, the red packaging one actually perform much better than the blue packaging one. I'm not sure whether is it because I'm unlucky to get a lousier controller for the blue packaging, but yeah, that's what I feel when I use both controllers. Now so what are some of the flaws of the controllers? Now straight off my head, I can just say that the build quality isn't of the greatest. Now you cannot expect much because you're paying such a low price, but it is really poor. The material they use is very cheap, and the way it is pieced together, you can just simply tell that it isn't good at all. You know, once you hold it in your hand, you will realize that this is a fake controller. You can really tell. Now the other thing is that the D-pad as well as the buttons, the X, circle, triangle and square buttons are quite unresponsive, and that it is quite poorly done, in the sense that when you press it, it has this very weird feel that just doesn't feel good at all. The feedback that the buttons provide aren't good. The next thing is that the D-pad here, it is very poorly done, because like you press up, you can feel that the rest of the buttons are actually moving along with it, so it's quite weird. And the next thing here is the analog sticks. Now this is one of the worst sticks that I've used, and I guess you cannot blame much because of the very cheap price. Now the analog sticks are quite rough. It isn't as smooth as the original DualShock 3, and the clicking of the L3 and R3 buttons are quite weird as well. The feedback and the force that you do it just doesn't feel good at all. The next thing is that for the blue packaging one, I believe this boils down to quality control. You're using the analog stick, it shifts, I would say, and such that it goes in a very awkward position where you can barely actually move the analog stick, and you have to do like a pressing down, like the analog stick is like popping out all of a sudden. So it is actually quite bad in that sense. Now the triggers do work okay, especially the L2 R2 triggers. The L1 R1 has the same kind of feel as of the buttons, quite weird, and the clicky feel isn't to my liking at all. You might actually like it, I'm not sure, but it is definitely not the clicking feel of, say, like the Geotech VX1 that I've talked about. It is instead a very cheap kind of button feel. I'm not sure how to explain, but it just doesn't feel right. So now the controller actually works as it should. It doesn't need a dongle, which is a very good point. I believe the first generations of imitations require you to insert a USB dongle for it to pair up, but this doesn't need it. And the thing is that the vibration feedback on the controller works as well, which is really surprising. I thought it would just be some random slight vibration, but no, it actually works really well. So yeah, for $15 thereabout, or slightly cheaper, I would say that the controllers are actually worth it. Say you're just looking for something to play with, you're gonna play the same verdict I would give as per the Geotech VX1. If you're not playing competitive gameplay, this is definitely a controller that you can look into. It is wireless as well, and it has rumble feedback, which is very useful if you're gonna play those action adventure games and FPS, single player mode, so on and so forth. So yeah, that's about it really. If you are looking to get this controllers, I would recommend that you think twice, but if you are really on a very tight budget and you really need a controller, these controllers will serve its function, and it surprisingly serves it in the sense that it works, but it doesn't feel right, but it just works right as it should. That was weird. Yeah, it functions. The functionality of a controller, it performs the functionality of the controller. So another thing before we go, I did try plugging it into the controller. It is recognized as a USB input device, but it suffered the same problem as the VX1, that it isn't recognized as a proper, probably like a Xbox 360 controller or something like that. So you have to map the keys manually. So just do take note. So yeah, $15, quite very cheap buy. If you have the money, I suggest you just go and buy the original DualShock 3. But if you are on a very tight budget and you need a controller, this made in China imitation DualShock 3 will serve the purpose well.